Alright, what is going on, guys? The Teen Engineer here, and today we're gonna be continuing the Find Your Glasses series. So if you don't know what this game is, it's my game Find Your Glasses, and it's super simple. You just have to find your glasses. Literally, you lost them and your vision is blurry. As we can see, it's basically like this. Your vision is blurry, and you gotta find your glasses, and there's 50 levels, and you just gotta do it, and it gets progressively harder. But in this video, we're not gonna be playing it because I promised you guys last video I did like 10 levels and I didn't do anything coding. So I'm gonna show you guys how I coded some stuff, and also if you want to join my group, Orion Entertainment Studios, I have 58 members, around 50 members, and yeah, and let's try to get to 100. So we have 58 members, we're all cool, it's a chill group, and yeah. So okay, so I'm gonna show you guys. I'm already on Studio, and let's see what I could show you. Okay, let's do some. Okay, I have these buttons here, and actually, now that I think about it, the gradient on them is from left to right, but I could do it from top to bottom. Okay, but anyways, these buttons are skip level X, well, 2 times vision X and skip levels D. These are basically Gamepasses and developer products, which are different. Gamepasses are like things that people can buy only once, but skip level is a developer product, so you can buy it multiple times. You know, you can skip level multiple times, but 2 times vision you can only buy it once. So it's 2 times vision is a Game Pass, and the skip level is a developer product. But I want to show you guys how I made it so that when they press X, it opens up like it's as if you click this button. Because then first person, you can't really move your mouse like to the UI. So I had to think of it. So let's see. I have to go to Study GUI, Screen GUI, frame maybe, level display, nope. Goal frame, I don't even know which one I put it. Passes, yeah, this one, passes frame. 2 times vision. Let's go 2 times vision. There's a gradient. Let's see if I can change the gradient. So rotation 90. Wait, is it that nicer, or let's see if I do 180. Wait, no, not 180. Negative 90. No, is it 90 is better. Let's rotate them 90 degrees so it's from top to bottom and not from left to right. I think that's better. So 90. Just like that. I think that's better. Looks better, I think. But doesn't really matter. I put these buttons and I put a local script here. Okay, so let's start reading what's going on here. Script.parent. Okay. So right now we're in the local script here. We're getting the vision button, so script.parent 2 times vision. We're getting the skip button, script.parent skip. We're getting the marketplace service because we have to prompt for them to buy something, so we have to access the service, marketplace service. And we also have to have the IDs of the game passes and the developer products. So I'm saving them here in the variables. So for the vision, for the 2 times better vision, the ID is whatever this is, and the skip is this one. And if you don't know how to get your ID, you just go to the store or whatever. You go to this one, and you can see in the link there is the URL, and there's a code, and that's basically the ID. And now I'm getting the service players, so that I can get the local player and I can access them and modify them and stuff. We're getting the service user input service, and for this one, the user input service allows you to check, to see what the user's pressing. So if you press X, A, B, C, 0, D, whatever you want, user input service allows you to see which key he entered. We're getting the replicated storage because I'm gonna have to fire some remote events to the server, because right now we're in the clients. I'm gonna have to make I was gonna have to fire to the server so that the server can change let's say you change the level, then the server's gonna have to do that. You can't do that in the client. And yeah, some other stuff we'll see. We're getting the event, right? So this is the remote event. I have a remote event called change blur in case they buy it, and I also have another a remote event called change level in case they buy the change level or the next level. Cool. So this thing uis.input began is user input service.input began. So it's basically running whenever the user types anything. Not types anything, but just presses any key on his keyboard, or I don't know if like left clicks are allowed to, but let's see actually. If input.keycode equal to enum.keycode. Maybe mouse, I don't even know. Well, whatever. But it's basically to check if there's any keys that pressed. And so I have this if statement here, and basically this is, you can just copy and paste this into a game. It's just making sure the player's not typing. Like if the player's typing something in the chat, he's not typing something in the chat, you don't really want to do anything, you know. They're typing in the chat, that doesn't mean that they want to buy your product. So you just want to make sure they're not in the chat. So if they are in the chat, we don't want to do anything, you know. If they press like X or Z in the chat, then we don't really care. So if they're not in the chat, then we check to see if the key that they clicked is X. That's the key I chose, because I chose my key X because like X is not a key that's usually pressed. It's not like W. W is like for walking, and A is for like going to the left. So you don't want to choose these like WASD keys that people press very often, because like then it's just gonna annoy them. So X is like basically never pressed. Z is the same. You could choose things like P, L, M, K, I, basically anything except WASD, and I don't know, some other keys that people use like Control, Shift maybe, Tab and stuff like that. But you don't want to use those. So just stick to some keys that people don't use. I chose X and Z. But yeah. So yeah, if they click X, then we can see it's 2 times vision that we want to give them. So we're prompting them. And how do we do that? It's just marketplace prompt Game Pass purchase to who? To the player. We have them here right here. And what's the ID of the Game Pass? We just put it. That's all it needs. That's all it needs. It's one line. And this is just gonna like it's just gonna pop up and say, do you want to buy the 2 times vision? And basically that's it. Alright, so now we have to check if they press Z, so if they want to skip level. And so if they press Z, this one we have to check if they're not already at 50. Because if they're at 50, at level 50, they're already done. You can't really skip a level if you're already done, you know? So we're checking to see if they press Z, and we're also checking to see if they're not at level 50. Because if they're at level 50, they're done. We can't really skip for them. There's no level to skip to. So if that's fine, then we prompt the product purchase. And you notice that this is not Game Pass purchase, not prompt Game Pass purchase, because this is not a Game Pass. This is a developer product. So you just have to change that function to prompt Game Pass purchase, prompt product purchase. But it's super simple. So you just give the player, and then you give back the developer product ID. And this one, you notice that it's not really in the store. It's a developer product. So how do you find the ID? You go to edit. Wait, no, not edit. This is Roblox Studio. You have to go to configure experience. So configure experience. And associated items, developer products. There you go. Skip a level. So yeah, and how do you find it? I don't think, yeah, it is this one. You can see is this ID, and it's not the, is it the same one? Let's see. Yeah, it's the exact same one. And be careful, because one time I copied this first code and I was like, why is it not working? It's the second code. I think this code is for the experience. This ID is for my experience. This ID is for the actual developer product. So that's the second one. You wanna, yeah. Let's continue. So yeah, that's done basically. Now we also want to, in case there's mobile players can press on the buttons because they don't have a mouse. They can press on the buttons without needing to press X. So we're checking to see if on the button, so vision is the button for the 2 times vision. We're checking to see if there's a button, there's a click on it, and if there is, then just prompt the purchase. Same thing for the skip. If there's a click button, if there's a click on it, then we just prompt the user to buy it. What else? Marketplace, the prompt game. Okay, cool. So now we want to check if the player actually bought the item, because they can press on the button and then cancel. So we want to make sure that they actually bought it, you know? So prompt Game Pass purchase finished. This allows us to see if the player purchased it or not, and if he finished or not. So Marketplace is a prompt Game Pass purchased, connect in a function, and then we pass. Wait, no, we don't pass. We get the arguments. We have a player argument that gives us. It gives us the pass ID, and it gives us the if it was purchased or not. Now we're checking to see if the pass ID was this one, and this one is the vision, so 2 times vision. So if they bought, if they clicked on the 2 times vision and they bought it, so and was purchased is true, or and was purchased, that's it. But it's the same thing as if you were saying equal true, but we don't really need that since it's an if statement. Cool. Then if they bought the 2 times vision, we wanna fire to the server, and we'll see what this remote event is doing, and we'll see where it's waiting for in the server. But yeah, that's basically it. Now we check to see if the skip a level was bought, and we're checking to see if prompt product purchase finished. And you can notice that it's not the same thing. Prompt Game Pass purchase finished and prompt product purchase finished. So you want to make sure you don't accidentally put one another, like, so you confuse them. Do the same thing. We have a player. I don't know why I call it new player. Well, actually I do know, because like I don't want to confuse it with the player variable I have on top here. Okay, and we have the pass ID. We have was purchased. So if the pass ID was the skip a level, and it was purchased, and want to make sure that it's another check here, as we did before. It's another check to see if the player is not already at 50. At level 50, because if he was at level 50, then he'd be done with the game. So you kind of don't want the player to be at level 50. But I noticed something's a bug here. On mobile, if they click on it, they can buy it, and it's not going to do anything. So I have to make sure here, mouse button one click. You have to make sure. Let's just put it back in here. Get this one. So let's put an if statement. Make sure. And so like here, because basically they could buy it and they're already at 50, and it's like I have to make sure they're not at 50. So cool, another check here, and we're going to fire to the remote events. Now there is a server-side script waiting for these events to fire, so let's have a look at them. I believe it is Gamepasses handler. Let's see, change blur and change level. Is that the one? Yep, that's the one. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's analyze this. We're getting the replicated storage, so we can get the remote events. We're getting the change blur remote event. We're getting the change level remote event. We're getting a new level remote event, and we're getting a play sound remote event. Now the play sound is like for when you win. It's like does like a sound that I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's like a winning sound. It's like a little sound. And we're also getting the marketplace service. Yeah, we're getting the marketplace service so we can check if a user owns the Game Pass. And I'll show you guys why I need that. Okay. So, the blur event, so this is firing when the player buys the 2 times vision. So he gets 2 times better vision, and we have to change it in the server, and it's super simple. Just set the blur strength to 10. So it was start at 20 for everyone, and if you bought it, you go to 10. And that's basically it. You just, when it's firing, so just change it to 10. Super simple. Now the level event. So when the player buys a change level, user owns Game Pass async. What is this? I'm gonna check this one, 155. Just make sure which. Okay, so this is the vision ID. Okay. So the level event, change level. Let's see. Change level. Okay, it's the same one. So when the player changes the level. It's the same remote event I'm using for when the player finds the glasses. So because it's the same thing that I want to do, I want to change the level, just +1. So if he finds the glasses, then +1, or if he buys skip a level, then +1. So we're checking to see with the marketplace service to see if the player, so we use the player's user ID, and we put in the Game Pass ID, and the Game Pass ID is for the 2x vision. So we're basically checking to see if the player owns the 2x vision. And we'll see what we'll do with that later. And now we just augment his level, so +1. If he was at 20, he's gonna be at 21. If he was at 19, he's gonna be at 20. And then we fire back to the client with the remote event new level, and basically this is for the UI, because on the UI at the bottom left we're giving the level, like level how much out of 50. So it's just gonna fire back and then give that to the client so the client can display it, because any GUI is on the client. So it's just super simple. Just firing it back on the client. It's waiting, and if it changes, then it's gonna change the UI. Cool. Now we're using the player bought the Game Pass. So if the player bought the Game Pass, what do we want to do? Well, when the person wins, the blur fades out. It doesn't go completely like at the same time. It fades out. So how I did that is I used a for loop, and I used a variable that starts at 10, goes to 0, and does -1. So it goes 10, 9, 8, 7 until 0. And we're just setting the blur strength to I. So initially it's 10, and it's going to go 9, 8 at every 0.01 seconds. And if he didn't buy this Game Pass, then we want to go from 20, because they have a strength of 20. So we just go from 20, so 19, 18 until 0, and we wait 0.01. Yeah. Now we fire to the client again, remote event. Which remote event is that? Oh yeah, we want to play the sound, right? So we fire back to the client to let them know that they should play the sound. Okay. Now we set the player's humanoid walk speed to 0, so he can't walk, he just wait. We set wait to 3 seconds, so he just looks around, everything's clear. It's like kind of like satisfaction, you know? And then we check again if the player bought this Game Pass. If he did, then we bring it back to 10, and if he didn't, then we bring it back to 20. And we wait 2 seconds, and we move the player to the spawn position. We move the player back to the spawn position that I put. It's just a position with a part, and it's basically like in the middle of the house. And we set their walk speed back to 8, because we set it back to 0 here, so we set it back to 8. And that is pretty much it for handling Game Passes, and not only Game Passes, but handling Game Passes and the level that augments. And there is another script here called Level Handler, and this one is just augmenting it and setting it inside of the data store. So actually changing it inside the data store so it doesn't get lost. We might go into more detail later. Okay, this one is literally huge. Yeah, I remember doing this script. This script is literally huge. It was such a pain, but basically, it's just checking to see what level they're at. And wait, something's wrong here. Is it? Let's see. No, it's fine. It's basically checking to see which level they're at, and yeah, and setting the eyeglasses position. Now you can see I have a bunch of these positions. So new glasses, glasses.clone. You put it in the workspace. We change the position, change the orientation, and these I just took like 50 of these, and I already knew the position of them. And because I like tested, you know, I can't just put these randomly. I already knew the position. I copied it, and I'm gonna go into more detail in another video. But yeah, that's basically what you need to know. And there's also for drawers, like the glasses need to move with them. So that was kind of I had to do like a trick for that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Let's publish this again. If you guys want to play this game, it is called Find Your Glasses, and it has a cool icon. And yeah, if you want to join my group, Orion Entertainment Studios, you already know it. That's gonna be pretty much it. Bye bye.